Okay, welcome everybody. Can you believe your eyes right now? We're sitting with the CEO and founder of ECOMI and VeVe, David Yu, about to have a Collector 9000 chat with the legend himself. And I'm joined today by Johnny Dunn, who's with me in the house, Claire, and the Gale, who are all OGs. So thanks so much for coming on, everybody, and welcome, David.
Hey, thanks guys. Thanks for having me on, and happy holidays. So just want to shout out to everyone. Hope everyone's having a safe one.
I think so, yeah. Well, this is great. What a background you have. I mean, if you want to talk about a collector, I mean, this is the guy. What don't you have, David?
Well, maybe I should tell the camera a little bit. This is just one part of it, and maybe we'll walk around later on if we have time. So, this is where my space that I normally work at. There's
wow.
my stuff up there.
Oh man. Wow. Look at
There's
that.
a couple of floors of collectibles. And I got a couple of warehouse for things that I collected over the years. Yeah, I mean books. We've got some, even Mickey Mouse first edition, and they're super rare. We can go through it later. Score myself one of these OGs, 1930s, in pretty good condition. Some of my books I collect, I got Virginia Woolf, one of the most sought after, writer and, collectible books, to comics we'll talk about, to artworks. Yeah, a bit of everything.
Yeah, everything. Whew.
So this is why VeVe was created, right? It's just basically transferring your collection into the digital world.
Yeah, I mean, it's a perfect mix to have a space that's unlimited in your showroom. And this is my real showroom, which I will walk you guys through later, hopefully if we get a moment. And why we built VeVe. One of the reasons, the importance of showroom is having collectors able to display them like I have behind me. Yeah, I mean, this is just really the new way of kids understanding. They really believe that digital is as real as the real physical.
So for you then, David, have you found it strange seeing the transition from physical to digital? Because the community seems to be going the opposite way, where I see a lot of people never collected before, they've gone to digital, and then they're now finding the physical.
Yeah, I mean, it's a human habit. I mean, people just love collecting. And I think one of the main things is, number one, it's definitely taken a lot faster step than we originally thought. We thought, the rollout will take about a good 3 to 5 years. But certainly, one of the key aspects that we have seen is there's just not enough content that we put out, and that people need to go and buy the physical stuff. People actually just reconnecting with the brands that they first know of, and it's really good. So it works out very well with a lot of our talents, a lot of our partners in the physical content place. Yeah,
That's awesome. And one question I have for you, David, was you taught a lot of us in the very early days to get duplicates, multiples. You taught me, 3 was the key. And so for me personally, if I wasn't able to get duplicates early on, I wouldn't have been able to get my collection to where it is now. And so growing up, is that something that you learned from somebody else, or is that kind of something that you learned from trial and error, instincts kind of thing? Or how did you learn to get the duplicates?
Yeah, I to be very honest, I started to get duplicate of collectible since stamps. I collected stamps when I was very young. And you guys will probably know there's 2 types of stamps, or well, there's multiple types of stamp, but there's 2 types of mintage. There's one that's used, it has a stamp mark on it. And obviously there's the unhinged mint, what they call it's unused. And not everyone can buy or collect brand new stamp that's never been used, the unhinged mint. So what I would used to do is I'll collect the stamps, I'll get the whole set, and slowly throughout my album, I will try to replace them with a mint copy of it. So it's just almost like the comic book, and I'll show you some example why it's become quite addictive for me is that I always try to find another copy that is a better copy than I have, that I already own. And just over the period of time, I found that 3 is the magic number, that you get to keep one that you always keep. And 1 is really, you can always trade with someone, swap it for something. And one last one, you can actually open it and use it yourself. So I end up with 3 for that purpose, really by accidental. And it actually worked out very, very well for me. And so everywhere, even, when I go with Dan to many shows, I try to buy 3 and I'm so terribly bad. And if you ask them, true story is I will get him to go line up again and again to get, so I can get the 3 I needed. So, that habit was picked up and gradually it got more and more addictive, and I pretty much have to say, I technically have 3 of everything. And today you will see some. I mean, I got a massive Lego collection just sitting here and it's 3 of everything. Everything's just in multiples when I purchase them. I'll have to start putting some together sometime. Yeah.
Nice. I found myself doing the same thing before I even heard you say that. I just didn't want to get rid of mine. So I was like, let me get a second one. So I want to ask you, do you have any other rules that you like give yourself when collecting, like never sell for a loss or anything like that?
Yeah, to be very honest, I never actually purchase anything for the monetary value to really to gain something. Most of the stuff that I collected and over the period of time is really things that the subject matter really resonate with me, and I find I collect all sorts of art, and I find things that's very bright, very pop, stands out, and hence that's why we have Ronan, we had Jamal, we had Frank Kozak, all these pop artists, and we've got more, which I can't actually say here. It's because the color really just grabs me. So I really love colorful things, even at a young age. So, and really for me, it's all about the subject matter, that if it really gets me, and also artists, I collect Pacific artists, and I go quite deep into it. Just like our VeVe collector, I get really into things that the artist did before he was a profession, or famous, or before he made it, if he was a rookie, and so on. And I think other things that I really try to do is try to get the first editions or first appearance, like the Mickey Mouse is the first appearance. Virginia Woolf, that's the first book in the 1930 of the first edition. And I have game cartridges, it's all, the first print, but you're never going to get the first one. So you could actually start only the second edition, second print, and third, or you can work the other way around from, the latest edition and slowly to the first. I mean, I just started collecting the James Bond book from Ian Fleming. And they're not really the first edition, so they're not super high value, but I get to read them. And if I really like the whole series, I'll start collecting them, and slowly this probably be 2022 I'll start look out in auctions or bookstores, and that's the problem. They get really addictive, and there are certain things that collectors look for when they buy things. The provenance, who owns this collection before, and so on, or if they were signed, and if they have been writings and scripts being written by the artists. And I'll show you some stuff today that I have comics being signed or written by Stan Lee, and what makes it special, and so on.
Amazing, David. There's just so much to learn from you. And I mean, I know we only have just over an hour, but I wish sometimes we had like 4 to 5. But, my question to you, David, and this is what gets me really excited, is seeing some of the utility that's been added to these collectibles. So for instance, with the Disney Golden Moments, we saw the Disney Plus subscription. And, is there going to be future utility that would be added on top of this? Some things that I dream about at night is a free ticket to the Disney theme park, as an example.
Yeah, Chet, that's a great question. For me and the team at VeVe, we always constantly think of new ways to make their NFT worth more than its face value, and what else you could do with it. The Disney Plus, and obviously we had the James Bond No Time to Die ticket, even though that was a very small run. You will start seeing NFTs moving into number one is interoperable. I mean, we always, our audience, if you don't know, we have officially migrated our NFT to a layer 2 Ethereum, which is really just the start of what we can start to explore, and the possibilities of being interoperable, turning some of these products possibly to a gaming skin, or a prop and something, or bringing your showroom to the next level. All these possibilities are unlimited. So we really believe that there will be the digital utility, and then there will be the physical utility. And we're seeing more and more companies are coming out with, concert tickets, eventually will be redeemable, and you can collect the movie tickets as you go, things like that.
Wow, yeah, no. I think when I first look back and think when I first bought my first VeVe, little did I think that this journey would be the journey that it has. And I mean, hats off to you. Each time I think, wow, this is big, you just bang it out the park again. And I mean, Coca-Cola, wow, one of the biggest companies I can think of worldwide. What did it feel like to have to keep that inside?
Yeah, I mean, a couple of things. Coke is super ultimate collectible. I mean, people collect the Coke merchandise bottles, and I do personally have a small collection of Coke special aluminium bottles and so on. Number one is at VeVe, we look for a company that has a relevant subject matter to us. It could be a fashion brand, could be a drink brand, like you just mentioned with Coke. We really go down to it. Number one, if there's collectability, and number two is, what can we celebrate with it, when we bring it into, digital. And to keep, the Coke has been in the wood for some time. I mean, most people probably think, oh, well, we'll pick up the call and we just maybe call Pokemon or someone, and they just go, yeah, let's do that together. You guys are cool. It doesn't quite go that way. It takes efforts. You need to prove to these brands that it is relevant for them as well, and that the target audience and so on. And there is going to be a collective base for these. Coke, in the other note, is that we are rolling out a fantastic program. We've got a lot of big stuff coming out in the years to come. What we have coming, and I actually only just learned that also myself when I went on the Twitter live. This will be part of the Christmas holiday celebration, and I think keeping that, obviously it's been in the work for some time. Keeping that is pretty hard, and I think some of our audience did guess that there will be something drinkable in VeVe, and I think maybe I mentioned it just briefly in one of the AMA going back, what could be in the metaverse? And I say, well, it could be anything. And I think some people, I'm not meant to slip anything out. I didn't mention the brand, but people guess, Coke could be one of them. And we're very, very pleased to be, partnering up, releasing this series for you guys.
All right, here we go. And that was amazing, David. I mean, I think we all were just, blown away by when we saw that Coke was announced. I mean, that's something, like you said, some people in the community were kind of guessing that Coke was going to be a brand, but to hear the announcement was unbelievable. My question was, for me, a lot of the collectibles that I started with that were, the first ones that got me into collecting, the ones that I bought for retail at the actual store before they sold out, those are sentimental to me. And so for me, it's so hard for me to actually sell those. I was going to ask you, do you still have any of your collectibles, or maybe stamps that got you first into collecting?
Oh, yes. Yes. That is one of the biggest issue I have, is that I don't think it's longer I'm a collector, I'm a hoarder. I just keep everything. And the problem is I even keep the boxes. And this, we should all understand that the provenance is so important, how it came from. Like some of your earlier collectible, the toys, physical, a lot of people open them up and they throw them out. And more, it's becoming very relevant that the value is sometimes could be in the packaging, because people do throw them out. And I see you got those Funko Pops in the back, and they're in the box for a specific reason. You don't take them out because they have that provenance in it. And I got a whole line of pops up there in the second line there. Here we go.
Can't wait to see all those.
Yeah. I got some real cool one. I think I got one that was signed by Manny Pacquiao, the fighter. That was quite cool. So
yeah, that is awesome.
He gets a nice little plastic box. So I do collect everything. I mean, it's not just NFTs or anything. Physical toys is quite big for me.
Right. Awesome to hear. Thank you.
So David, I know you of all people understand the importance of first appearance and stuff like that. So I think it's my understanding that you are the one that decides the edition sizes for these collectibles. Can you talk us about your thought process on how do you determine these sizes like Wonder Woman and Superman?
Yeah, I do decide them. And when so all our audience should understand, when I decide them, I don't actually think about the money side. And I do have to say, a lot of our partners always go, well, we do well out of it, commercial wise. I always work backwards. If you ask Dan, I always look at how many audience we have and the relevance of this. And I do make mistakes, don't get me wrong. For example, Voltron. I actually thought I would be the only one buying it. And plus, I didn't even manage to score one. So I thought maybe I minted more than enough, because, the Voltron is really for, 40, 50-year-old plus. And they go, oh, well, and it's not the OG Voltron, it's the DreamWorks, the new series. So I thought maybe, our audience will find it, not so appealing. But it went blizzard. It's amazing. So things that we look for is, number one, the subject matter, if it's going to be big enough. And also, if the series is a big series, we'll try to get the pricing down as well, as low as possible, so everyone can afford them. And, we sing the blind box that we done in the Marvel Mighties. Those are very affordable. So that's number one. And number two, like comic, for example, they can't be crazy price. You can't really go, well, because we throw in the secret rare and they go for thousands of dollars, maybe we should price them at $40 a copy. It just doesn't make sense. So everything you see in VeVe is, number one, is priced to what physical market retail them at. Okay. Number two is, it could be 10% higher or can be 15, 20% lower. Number two is, I do ask our supplier, if you were making this toy physically collectible, how many edition will you run? And if they only go, well, we're going to make 20,000, we're pretty much ballpark that, and then we'll take a bit of discount on it, just simply because it's digital. And recently, and very important that you should all know, is that, for example, the serial killers from Wrong, we could have upped the editions, but we kept the whole 3 series the same. And that is really just us demonstrating, again, it's about collectability. It's not really about, could we sell 500 unit more or 400 unit more? And we could easily sell 20, 30% more with no doubt. But then that made that collectability, pointless. It just really become you just become really too commercial, and that's not what this app is all about. It's about the collectors can buy what they want, and people can collect the characters they love, and they start trading them in the secondary market. And that's quite important for us as well, to see people do interact with it. And I do see collectors out there buying 30, 40, 50 of them in their showroom. And now that is huge problem. That's beyond the 3 that you should have.
I agree with that, David. And kind of on that same line, right now we're having, 1 million plus users in the app, and we have, I think in the last AMA, 30,000 people joining almost daily. And so my question to you, has there been any estimates on what a peak user base could be? For instance, like 50 million at the top, or any thinking around that?
Yeah, I mean, I should be monitoring the user number a lot more than I do as a CEO. And to be very honest, this train, boat, whatever you call it, or rocket, I call it rocket. So everyone's all fast and ready to go. And especially you guys, the original collectors out there, we honestly never intended the app, by in another fortnight, we were hoping we have about 65 to 68,000 users. So it's gone beyond our expectation, and therefore it created a lot of the problems because it was not built like this. Couple things I just thought I'd bring, and there's quite often myself and Dan, and I probably bring it up a lot more often, and I will say, well, should we close the app, not allow any more sign up, just keep the community as it is, and maybe send out invite codes or, other ways. And we always wanted to see if this whole thing could have that snowball effect, and it did. And we really want to thank yourself and all our fans because it went viral, because the utility value of it is you actually have fun taking photos and making these artwork that you never thought you become an artist. And what's so important is all the fans that tell one other fans. And I normally think one person will tell 7, and that 7 people will go tell 7 more, and so on. And also on top of that, Chad, is that we always thought there would be a drop-off rate. So, I mean, everyone downloads the apps, right? Because it's a free app. We always thought people will, okay, they buy 1 or 2 and they go, oh, well, this is a gimmick and you get off. But generally in every app, you have drop-offs every single time you add new. But with VeVe, we actually found the users and our fan engagement time went up. And some of the time, it's quite scary. It gets up to about 2 hours average. So that's quite unheard of as well. That's almost, and some of you will know how many hours you spend. And I think, Claire, I can see your hands over your face. So she's definitely guilty of that. So we didn't just see a huge growth in the user, but we saw huge engagement time. And that's what really got us really excited, and why, we constantly try to expand. I mean, the showroom version 2 is meant to be coming out like I think August this year. It's continued to be delayed because, it's just so crucial that we do it correctly. And that we found that our OG user like to keep the original room as well. Originally, what we wanted to do was basically, it's just going to be an overnight swap. And I think people who have created their room would have been very, very upset. So that took another few months on that transit. So we do hear what our collectors want, and we do bring in things that our collectors want. And I do hear you. I mean, you guys want everything, every IP behind me. I'm not, and please don't use my background as any indication. Today, that's not what we're doing here. And there are much, much more IP out there that we will be going for as well.
Yeah, I mean, when it comes to the time I use on the app, even Apple, my phone, I think's given up, because it used to tell me first thing you normally do in the morning is open VeVe. Now it doesn't matter what time of day or night it is, it assumes that's what my next activity is going to be. So the minute it does it automatically, it'll save me a job, I think. But I mean, I obviously love buying the collectibles, but also using them, which is something I find amazing in the digital, because obviously we don't have to worry about them aging badly or getting rain on or anything like that. But you as a collector, because you have to go in VeVe and fight it out in the drops with the rest of us, how do you find your VeVe experience there as a consumer?
I do get up quite early in the morning generally. And number one is because VeVe drops us on an odd time. I do miss out most time. I do maybe about every 7 or 8 drops, I do get one. And when I do score, you know, obviously I go, oh my God, you know, I got it. This is not a scam. We don't actually get given it. The collect we basically have to purchase them, just like anyone. Our licensor do expect us to be paying a royalty for them, and we don't actually have a system that it goes well, because we see Dave's address, so we automatically give them, you know, the hot numbers. Nothing. We don't get any more favorable. I did see Dan had more collectible than me, but he did say it's because he was loading it for testing use to see. So I have to take his word for it. I saw it the other day. You know, we haven't caught up for a long time because we just came out of lockdown, and he did show me the version 2 showroom only a few days ago of his collectible. It's absolutely amazing.
That's funny to hear that you guys are basically competing with each other for VeVe collectibles at this point. So that's great. That's great to hear. My question was, I know you've covered it a lot in early AMAs, the difference between first editions and first appearances. And a lot of new users have been asking me, you know, what's the difference between them two? So I was just seeing if maybe we could hear from the legend himself explain the difference between, once again, the first edition and the first appearance.
Yeah, okay. So basically, first edition and appearance is almost the same. But we would never call, you know, a toy figure a first, you know, edition. We'll call it comic book first edition. You know, it's the first print, first mintage. That's what they use in the book. Well, the first appearance of them in digital is quite important, because you know, we might have one day we might have, and I'm just gonna say maybe we'll have a first Marvel artwork edition come out, you know, but it won't be the first appearance of it. There will be an artist maybe drew the Spider-Man, and this is his first edition of artwork, and we'll call that first edition because it is his first edition of that artwork coming out as representative of Spider-Man. Now, the appearances is more like the first time this character actually coming into the universe as what we call it, like a toy. You know, every toy that we do, and by the way, a lot, you know, Johnny, with your, you know, with your pop figure, I actually have open one as well. I play with them, I display them, I move them. You do want to play with them, you do want to move them, you do want to display them. And once those figures are open, when we talk about the first appearance, it's like, well, they appear as a physical toy format, they appear as a digital format. So that's how the appearance works. They're only going to come out once. I think we did make 1 or 2 mistakes in the past. Maybe Captain America or one of the figure that we were told, well, it's already been appeared once. So we had to get Marvel confirmation to go, I think we made a mistake. And they go, yeah, you did. Go and correct it. And we now a little bit more sensitive now as well of how we bring the first appearance of that figure out. Because a lot of you would have known that for example, Captain America possibly have come out as a Mighty's style, the cute little style, and people go, well, why would they, how will you do that for? You know, we didn't really think about it. All we want is to go, well, Captain America is going to be coming out with all the other figures. But we, you know, a lot of our fans go, well, you should have given a spotlight for a premium format to be the first appearance. So we do listen, and we are more careful now how we bring these things out, because they do reflect your collection's value. You know, it could be monetary or it could be a perception value, because a lot of people collect first edition of appearance of every character, and then they have all these beautiful statues, and then they have a, you know, big deformed head figure. They go, well, hold on, Mike, you know. so we are going to be a lot more careful how we bring these things out moving forward.
Awesome. Great to know. Thank you for covering that.
Okay, David. So I got one quick question for the people and then my real question. So
Yes.
Bulbasaur, Charmander, or Squirtle?
Charmander.
Okay. I'm a Bulbasaur kind of guy, but my real question, what are you pointing at?
It's my
Okay.
being.
Nice.
Nice.
Okay, so my real question is, so when you guys introduced comics to the app, you guys kind of introduced a new dynamic with the serial numbers. So my question to you is, would you prioritize a low 3-digit common, or would you rather have a very high mint secret rare with the low supply?
Well, I normally go for the rarity. The rarity is quite important, but the number of edition, it's, you know, naturally it's going to be, you know, more sought after because you are getting the lower numbers. I mean, with all my artwork I collect generally all the bottom numbers, very rare numbers, and I go out my way try to get them. You know, and these are on prints, obviously. Otherwise, if they're unique piece, they are one of one. But in comics, I will really think you will probably go for more rare to start with. But it's going to be hard because if you have Marvel number 1 common, but you have a number 100, that's extraordinary to get that number. And I normally also collect numbers with significance. You know, if they introduce of that Mickey Mouse book, for example, is the 1930s, you know, if they did 2000 print, I'll try to get number 1930 on it. You know, those things are more for collectors, sentimental value to I guess in the digital world, it's more like the breaking rights that, well, I got to own this edition number. And I do know a collector, a friend of mine, who collect very low number, and they're all the same. So all his collectibles will be like number 88, 88, 88, 88. And I think up to today, he has about 100 plus collectibles. That's all same number. And to him, that's a significant number because he's managed to, you know, collect that whole range in all that number. So I guess when you come to sell it, it will be a huge collection to you know, for someone to buy.
Extra question while you were talking. So I just recently completed my same first mint set with the Voltron. So what do you think of the same mint sets?
The same mint set. Well,
Yeah,
how
like
did you manage to do that?
Oh, I made a video on it, but like it was really miraculous. Like I found one randomly in the marketplace, and then I made a video and put the word out. Somebody had it, we made a trade, and then I bought it in the marketplace, and yeah, it was crazy.
So, and what number was that?
646 for the Voltron set.
Wow. Because it's a quite big run, right? It's a big edition run. So to find that on the market is pretty rare. It's almost it's very hard. I mean, the combination of getting it, if you times that, it would be 1 in a million chance to get it. I think some of the yeah, 20, yeah, maybe, yeah, 1.5 million. I might have to do the maths again on the combination of you managed to score that, because you almost have to find everyone who has that number willing to sell it to you or trade with you. That's pretty hard. Yeah,
Okay, cool. You answered my question. Thanks.
yeah.
So that's great, David, and congrats to the Gale on that. That's amazing. And one question I had for you, David, and this takes me back to the early days. So when I joined the app, I saw the Todd McFarlane Batman sitting there, and I recognized the FA symbol, and it all came to me pretty quickly. I said, okay, wait a second. If this is the first appearance of Batman in digital format, knowing what I knew about comic books, I was like, potentially this could have a similar value one day, because now we're transitioning to the digital world as it does in the physical and the comic books. And so my question to you is, it's a two-part question, but the first would, is it possible we can get to some crazy values on some of these collectibles? And the second part would be, we have now these comics coming into fruition, and they're legendary comics. I continuously hope for the Amazing Fantasy 15, the first appearance of Spider-Man. And I wonder, would that comic book in the digital format ever get to the prices it is in the physical? So I was wondering, if you could maybe just discuss that a little bit. That'd be
Yeah. Great. So couple things. The first appearance of Todd, by the way, into VeVe, it is the first DC. So just to let our audience understand that VeVe was so leap year ahead in this industry that not every company employee got it. The message didn't really get quite across some of these organizations. And I understand, our fans kicked up a fuss with one of the, they do all the time. So just to be sure, it is the first. It is one of my most favorite. They do have that sentimental value. It is the first Todd that come in. And by the way, I do have a physical Todd here. I'm not sure if you guys can see it.
Looks amazing.
And I might actually give this one away. But let's give it to your fans. And I think every Todd down here, that's a nice Todd, has a special number. So what about this? If you're holding this number in your VeVe NFT, I'm going to courier this in a brand new box to you to reunite with your other version. So the number's here. So I think it's 2216.
Wow.
Now, if you have 2216 on your Todd, this is coming at you for you sitting here. It's amazing. It's quite a heavy one, by the way. It's not just plastic. I think it's polystone, that one. Now, talk about it, that yes, it is important to get the first appearance. And for comic book, it's slightly different. And I think, months ago, we did talk about what if the comic book, when you read them over 50 times, they start to get wear and tear. Because we are trying to work out how we can add true physical, from digital to a physical. As you read the books get wear and tear. That's why people put these covers on it. The pages start turning a little bit more yellow. So we have thought about it, and we are going to run more, possibly voting with our community to go, well, do we want the pages to start to crease after you read it 50 times? So you kind of have your commons that is not in mint condition, there is unread one, and somehow we can tell the audience, well, how many times has this comic book been open? And then, the read comics, people will buy them just for reading purpose, and then the people will buy them unread, mint. And I guess we need to find out a way, just in case you tap the screen mistake and it just opens up and you get a secret rare first edition being read. So I guess we have to come up with quite a few mechanisms. And another thing we need to think about is, will we allow people to start burning these comic book, the commons, so the rarity will start to drop down? And how will we do that? you know, constantly myself and Dan, we have thought about, well, what if the artists could start signing them? You know, once you have them signed and they embedded with your in the blockchain, it says, well, this book is signed by X you know, artist, cover illustrator. So that comic book is kind of no longer part of that common pool anymore. It's a common that's been signed. So we are going to start look at how we add value to it. And hints wise, we've been testing a lot of these numbers in the comic book. Some of these comic, you're seeing huge numbers. And, you know, 1 week we get everyone go, oh my God, VeVe finally understand we all can get one. And then next day we drop it right down to like 10,000 or 15,000. And people go, what the hell? What's wrong with you? We are testing a lot of the mechanism, understanding the bias behavior, what people trade them at. If people just trading for speculator purpose or people actually reading them if we print more. So we are trying to learn all these things behind it. And I know a lot of you do read them because I do see people send me messages go, there's an error in the comic book. I mean, you've seen some of the Marvel comic as you know, talk about Superman, right? So yeah, so I just wanted to bring it up. It's good that our fans are reading them as well.
Sorry, yeah. So I mean, going back to your kind, generous offer of the physical Todd matching the mint of the market. Well, if it's in the market, I wonder how quickly it will be in the market. But in relation, because obviously I love Harlequin and I've started to buy the physical Harlequin, and to get the mint number on the physical is near on impossible to be able to determine what you're going to get, and it adds another layer. And one, I decided not to go down the rabbit hole as much as I would love to go down it. I don't think I think it would financially ruin me to go in search of certain mint numbers at this stage. But when I buy the new ones that haven't come to VeVe yet, it feels like I'm getting a spoiler that I get to see something that's not yet come. But when it comes to the 100 black and white Batman series, is that something you own the whole set of the physicals?
There's actually only possibly 2 to 3 individuals in the world owns the first one. They're going as far back as I think 15 years ago or 14 years ago. Now, I've been told by DC high executive that it's about 2 to 3 sets complete. And I kind of know who the owner, I won't say it, but they are very sought after now. Obviously, our VeVe fans have been going into these comic store, cleaning up everything. We managed to score a few of them through my connections. You know, I own a chain of retail shops, so well, it's kind of stupid. I told my manager to go, take everything that's Batman black and white off the shelf. I need it. And you know, it's been selling really well everywhere. So it is really good to see that, you know, these products have another collectabilities to them. And another favorite one of my one, I do have to say, is the Mike Magnolia one. That's a cool one. I mean, when we first bought them out, people go, what the hell is this guy doing? You know, he is beautiful. I might give this one away as well. I think this one's beautiful. And it's a special blue one. So the number on this one, and there's only 5,000, mate.
So lucky here.
There's 1409.
Okay, 1409. Okay, so 2216, I believe it was Todd, and 1409 Mike Magnolia. Amazing.
Yeah, so we'll send them out on UPS to whoever on the NFT one of those. I think they'll love it to stand next to it. And they are very hard to get hold of. So I would love this one to go to the actual NFT owners to sit alongside with it.
Amazing. I mean, because of VeVe, I had to get myself my own tie Batman as well.
Yeah. What number did you get? Is it a low run number?
So this number is 2,393. So not
Okay.
the lowest. I actually have a lower VeVe number. So
that's quite heavy statue, right? It's
heavy.
like yeah.
Unbelievable. When the box came in the mail, I was blown away and I was like, okay, I completely understand the whole physical collecting experience now. And I actually had to go and get the Rizzo as well to match the 1 and the 100.
Oh, nice.
So those are my 2 physical collectibles I had to get because of VeVe. The tie was my first one. And my question to you, one of my last questions is, I know you talked about how you guys only expected about 60,000, 40,000 users in the first year. And that initial growth, I think, was like end of March happened and it kind of set you guys back. What was the moment that you guys kind of realized, okay, this is growing too big, too fast. We have to re-engineer the app now. Like, what was that moment that was like the tipping point to say, okay, let's do it?
I to be very honest, both of us haven't actually haven't sit down, actually had a break to suck it all in. We just been constantly getting bombarded with 3,000 to 4,000 messages. This needs to be done. That needs to be done. We found the app was, I think, has to be after DeLorean, the Time Machine release. We knew this thing is gonna be taking off, and we need to scale now. It's very, very hard for a startup to find staff, to be very honest. Most people don't understand is that the super great engineers, the brains in the world, they want to work for the big multinational, with a brand recognized. With VeVe I won't say it was hard to find staff, but it was very difficult to find the people who have the same passion and the knowledge of what we needed to do. And I just want you guys to understand is that there are a lot of bugs in the app that we're fixing constantly. We at the beginning, we really thought, all that users, 20,000 people would be a great tester, 60,000 people is a great testing market. And next year at 2020 is really going to be our launch. So there was part of them, we are always chasing our own tail, shall we say. We're constantly reviewing to go, well, which one is the most important? Do we fix the fee? Do we fix the marketplace? Or do we fix the showroom? And actually, we need to fix everything. But we can only pick one of the most prioritized and then go back. And then, after I think we fixed the drop issue, scalability problem, and then there's the bot issues. We never thought people would use bots to buy these. Honestly, before the app actually went live last October and again in January when we went public, Dan literally in my kitchen table just go, well, I'm about to press go live. I just hope people will like this. And I looked at it, I said, yeah, I kind of like it. I think it's cool. I think we'll sell. And we just wanted to sell some Batman. That's all we wanted to do. We didn't expect people to go, well, I can't get my Batman. It was too hard to get. This is now your problem. You need to make more. I can't, we weren't expecting any of these. So it came to a shock that we actually had, fans wanting to, like yourself, doing a lot of promotion for us through the YouTube, through the social, and we're extremely humbled by the community because I tell you, we didn't even know how we're going to market because we actually had no money in the bank. To be very true to you, we actually, we myself and Dan, we didn't pay ourselves for many, many years. The first 2-3 years, we didn't draw money out. And we actually were in the process, maybe laying more staff off just to be a little bit more even bootstrap budget. And it's really with all the helps that the community given us, the chance, the opportunity. So we have apologized very often that if we don't get to your problem, we will solve it. We do listen. It's not like we are sitting here doing nothing about it. We understand every issue. And just keep in mind, the likes of the multinational, the brand owners have huge expectation on us as well to ensure that the properties that we're representing for them get delivered, get loved, get cherished by the users out there. So, I just want to take this opportunity once again to thank all our fans. It's been amazing journey. And, today, with another big brand coming on board, and we have many more, it doesn't stop. And I think our fans also need to understand that we do pilots and we test. And there's no point to bring a huge corporation brand on if your apps are not ready for it. And we understand that. We know where we stand. We will never try to chew more than we can afford to take. We just take it as a step at a time, and we are going to continue to grow this to as big. To answer your question, is that what is the number? We really think we can get up to in the high millions, single digit, maybe the 8 to 9 million. I really do think we do have that potential now. With more and more brands that we're bringing out. And we are bringing out different categories as well. I think in our original white paper, people go, well, they're about fandom. What is fandom? Fandoms, you got your evergreen characters, you got your superheroes, we have movie, TV, you got music. I think we have covered a bit of everything, and we're starting to move and merge into new categories as well.
Okay, so with the introduction of land and the VeVeVerse upcoming and NFT rentals, how big do you see that being? And can you see people earning sustainable income from that over time once it's fully implemented down the road?
Yeah, I mean, we would never give financial advice. If people should give up their job to do this full time. This is really, we see as more entertainment, to be very honest, and we classify under entertainment in the app. Where we see the future of NFT, I mean, to be very honest, myself and Dan, we have huge dreams. I mean, there's a lot of time we even don't have money, and we're still dreaming. If we had money, what will we do? What will we build? And definitely, going into the metaverse, it's always been in the back of our mind. But how do we do it? And have we got the ability to do it? We are learning as we go, and we're seeing what everyone's doing. And we were very inspired by many, and I will have to say, I was very intrigued by a lot of these early NFT metaverse, and we know some of them already out there, but they were very specifically built for certain target market and audience. And I give you a little bit of what we wanted to do in VeVe and why we want to do it the way we have done it. Number one is, many of you, if you don't know, I have a chain of gaming stores. In back of my game shops, I have trestle tables and areas where kids can come, trade their trading card, play their Magic, play their Warhammer, do their role-playing, Dungeons and Dragons, and so on. Now, that is actually called building a community together. And the digital layer of what VeVe's already offering is kind of already in the metaverse in a different way. You have these beautiful showroom that you're displaying things. You can walk through it. What we wanted to do is allowing those people to share with your friends, and your friends in London or Japan can actually go inside, curate with you. But there's only so much the phone can do. That's number one. So the metaverse that we wanted to do, it's a lot different than the metaverse that, some of these multinational want to do. They want you to be bringing you into it. What we wanted to do, and as you have clearly seen, the AR function, it allows these superheroes to come to life, to be in the real place, to take photo with, for you to upload. That's the whole fun aspect of it. We kind of want to mix that reality and that metaverse into one thing, rather than having the whole world just living in the metaverse full time, not communicating socially, distancing themselves forever. Is that how we bring that community? So our metaverse will be more community-based events, building things together and curating things together. For sure, there will need to be the carrots like you mentioned. Will the land be sought after? Of course there will be, because there'll be limited supply, and anything you put a limited oversupply, there will be an intrinsic value to it. And we also see these collectibles will eventually need to be living in these metaverse. I already see people have maybe hundreds of their collectible in the showroom. Our mobile apps can't handle that anymore. So we really need to be moving into some sort of metaverse in a way, allowing people to express themselves and make things. I mean, I have yet seen any showroom that have hundreds of collectible, but they're sitting on like shelves, in rows. It would be quite nice to see that. So we might have to bring out some shelves as well to add on, things like that. And that's basically part of this version 2 showroom, is that we will be able to bring furniture packages. You will be able to purchase a package of plinths, glass cabinets. So these collectibles can go inside the rooms. And that's what we want to do.
That's incredible, David. And one question I really wanted to ask you is, like you said earlier, we're seeing a lot of these NFT fans go and buy the physical counterpart of what they've purchased. And so, with the brands that you're signing on, I mean, not only are you now having massive NFT sales, but you're also, selling things off their physical shelves. So I guess what kind of opportunity, is it for a brand now to come and join the VeVe platform?
Yes, so we have been discussing a long time with a lot of our partners of how we can do this mix collabs where a physical product will be coming out, you get an NFT with it. So we do have a lineup, and I think a lot of our fans know that we have a wrong Go Rabbit that's actually in the water and the shipping now. And now we have moved to Immutable. We will be able to write those the address properly, because it will be the certificate signed by Ron will have your physical NFT address on it. We want to start to do things a lot more transparent, and you do have to keep in mind 3 years ago when we built the app, and I'll be very honest, most people didn't even know what NFT is. Then goes, well, what do we want to show the line of numbers? Well, people will not even know what it is. They probably think the app is breaking down, start showing numbers underneath. So we only wanted to start doing things like this when the markets become more mature. People go, well, I'm just going to scan that to make sure that it's a real McCoy. So you will start to see things coming out next year that we will be more interoperable. We will start testing brands or artists' products to go outside and other marketplace to test to see if it's good or not. For us, the most important is all about security. It is very vital that our fans retain that ownership in a way that they can trace it. They understand that if it goes outside VeVe, you do have to be careful. There are hackers, there are scammers out there. We really need to educate the people. And yeah, so slowly we're going to be moving towards that. And I think most people know. I mean, why else will we move to a layer 2? Let's be honest about it, is that we need to show our fans that these ownership can go off in case something does happen with our company as well.
Very well said. Thanks, David.
This is just like a question on really, how do you decide what's the common, what's uncommon? Because yeah,
Okay.
I mean,
this is always very, very hard subject with our licensors or brand partners, because they have a raft of things that they want to do. And we will have another thing that we think it should be done right. My ethos in collectible is, and I get really upset if I want something, I can't get it. If it's a collectible I really want, a missed drop, or I missed the website that was releasing this. So it is very important. Number one is that we generally make the most pretty one. I won't say every single release. We mostly make the most common one, the most popular one. Our business ethos is that I shouldn't be making the best looking collectible or the most famous one the hardest to get. Because it's, number one, couple of things. For example, the Wonder Woman that released a few weeks ago. If I made her secret rare or so low number, there's only 800 of them, there will be only 800 of these people will be able to enjoy owning a Wonder Woman. And man, she should be enjoyed by owning by every single household, every collector out there. So we generally make those a little bit common, not because we want to cheapen the product, simply because we want that collectible to reach every single collector as much as we can. And I think that ethos have earned a lot of our collectors' trust, because why would you want to participate in that drop? Because you want that Wonder Woman or you want that character in there. So we make that the most accessible. But that doesn't mean the ugliest one become the secret rare. It just means when we mix these together, we do choose them very carefully. So now you do have to remember, for example, Batman Black and White, there's 100 of them. I need to be breaking them up into pairs. As you know, they haven't been running in secret numbers. It's not like Batman top number 1, then number 2, number 3, number 4, and that's basically one batch. We've been dragging them out and taking them out and piecemeal them together to run and curate a program that is long lasting. Now, why is top number 1 is because we wanted to reward the first lot of people to come on the app to get that beautiful. Top is one of the best looking one. I do have them. And then that's it. It's only one black and white release. You have to own it, and that's why there's that sentimental value. And people who's collecting the whole 100 of them, they will go, well, I'm missing top number 1, the 100, the first one that came out. So that is quite important. So that hopefully that helped you answer some question, is that why we issue them the way we done it. Definitely it's not because the ugly one always going to be the secret rare. We do take them out, and we have to make sure that the curation program is going to continue and it will have a long lasting effect.
I mean, one trend that I've seen probably in the last couple of weeks, probably more so after Wonder Woman really, is the fact that the commons have, I don't know, increased, rocketed in value. And there's some theories because, for example, the Spider-Man, it's Spider-Man in 5 different poses, but the common has just gone up in value and probably flipped the uncommon by now as well. And there's people thinking it's because it was minted before, that the commons are the ones that get minted on the blockchain first. Is that a myth or is it real?
Well, there's a couple of things. I think it really comes down to supply and demand. I know there's guys out there, and we can see it. There's people holding thousands of common Spider-Man. I mean, literally thousands. And you know why? I also think it's because the numbers, the edition number, people get to buy their birthdays, the dates, the numbers. I know a lot of people want to buy a whole secret numbers. Well, I'm owning number, I mentioned this, you're owning number 100 to 150. I own all that 50 block. I mean, hey, please don't do this. This is not a financial advice. But imagine that people go, well, I own the whole block of all that collectible. You know, I've been collecting that Pacific common, and I was able to get it because it was cheap, it was common. So and there's a lot of collectors out there holding a lot of these Spider-Man commons. We can see it, especially now it's been minted. You know, we know in the background that there's people holding thousands of them, which is, you know, I don't have any objection to it, but it's definitely, you know, or too many.
I wish I had their foresight.
Yeah, but you know, myself and Dan, we could have bought more of the Batman first season 1 stuff, but we didn't. I mean, we wanted to leave enough for other people to own some. And in fact, the first few of these series season 1 stuff, we only bought 1 to 2 of everything, because number one is we didn't have money to buy them, and number two is more important is that we want the fans to own them, and we just want to make sure all of them's a number and we can transact with each other, send and receive. So yeah, that was practically what we did. And by the time we realized the price was going up, we went back and it was all sold out. There was no moment that we look at the app and go, maybe I should buy one more. By the time we went back to discover that, it was already around season 2. So I just thought everyone know. So we felt we missed out a lot of, you know, these things. Yeah, but it is what it is. It's just it's doing well. Thanks.
Makes me feel better that I've done the same mistakes now.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm not sure if you guys saw some, just quick, sorry. I remember the Golden Moment came out, and I think I was sitting here having a dinner with someone, and then someone put their Simpson one on the market for $65.
I saw that.
I'm just going.
Hey, what a great steal, because I got mine for $75 thanks to them because I didn't get it on the drop.
Unbelievable.
Right? That was crazy. Yeah, just thinking about it, I was like, gobsmacked. I'm going, is that person meant to be putting it on the auction and maybe just put it on buy now? Possibly.
Maybe, yeah, that could have been it. I remember seeing The Simpsons. By the time I saw it, it was about $75. And I couldn't grab one. I was trying to buy one for 75, 80, kept coming up with error. And I was like, okay, I need to have this one. So I went all the way down. I scrolled down. I tried to buy one for $250, said error. And finally, I locked one in for $200 when the floor was still 70. Some people are calling me crazy, but I was like, I didn't care. I just had to lock one in. And then next thing we know, boom, it took off.
I pretty much did that as well, because I realized the first 5 finger slice, you're never going to get it, because there's about, and then we realize, we look at the computer, there's like 60,000 people on the ad. So they were all trying to buy something in the secondary, and they're all getting their error coming up. So I'm going, well, I need to scroll down 7 times pretty much and just pay to get it. And that's actually how I got it. I was having dinner here, and 3 friends of mine, I got them all tried to get me one, and it took us about 15 minutes to get it. And that's with 3 phones trying to buy on secondary. So that was great. And if you look at the bottom of that collectible, it's the only collectible has a signature on it. So it's actually been signed off by, you know, the creator of Simpsons. If you look closely on the base, it's the only one out of them all.
I think that was one of my favorite ones. I actually got a 3rd one recently, so I had to stock up on that one. And my last question to you, David, was kind of about that same topic. So I had another question, but you brought up the Homer Simpson, so I wanted to ask this one. Is it a confirmation that, because there's a lot of debates in the community, what that true first Disney NFT is? A lot of people want to say Elsa, the Mickey hat, because that's the true Disney character. But technically, I always thought, you know, the first NFT licensed by Disney that was released is Homer and Bart with the skateboard. So I just wanted to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, well, then technically Disney owns Marvel as well, right?
Right.
So
then,
if you do that, it's going back to the Spider-Man again. that will be the real true Disney, if you're using that method. So you guys should understand these property owners are owned by their own groups, right? I mean, Simpsons is owned by the Fox Corporation, you know, and they still run it as independent. They report to the parent company. And, you know, Marvel definitely report to their own, you know, silo. Lucas is very siloed. Pixar is very siloed. Disney Corporation's another different because they do, you know, Disney's always been creating amazing, you know, major movies and the theme parks, you know. That celebration was really a Disney Plus one. It was celebrating all these franchises living on their platform. So now coming up, there will be that. Obviously our fans already know we got Star Wars, so it's not you know, I get to live for another week. You know, Marvel, you know, they all know we got them. So these franchises will continue. Silo have their own collectible and series of products coming out throughout all their franchise. And we're very, very lucky to have a, you know, a deal where we can bring all these into digital collectible format. Yeah, but going back to your question, so which one will be the actual Disney? So technically, Frozen possibly could be it. Yeah, if you put it that way, you know, for Disney owned property, their own storyline, Frozen is definitely there. But my favorite is the pizza truck. And I think a lot of people didn't connect why we did the pizza truck. The pizza truck is actually in all the Pixar films. It's one of the only vehicle that is hidden as a cameo in all their films. So I thought that was quite cleverly that we brought it out. So it's like a cameo and first appearance in digital, and that, you know, things like that will never come again. It's not like we'll be bringing another pizza truck out. I mean, there's no relevant reason why we will be bringing it out. It's not a key character. So, you know, those things will be very, very sought after, you know, because as Pixar's continue to bring films out, the only time you could buy a pizza truck in NFT is this one.
Great to know. Great to know. Definitely.
Yeah.
So, so we've seen Ritmo get animated at the end of season 1. And we just recently seen the Ron English airdrop with the Golden Bunny. Can we expect more of that in the future, since this is a collector's first app?
Yeah, we constantly have plans. I mean, obviously, I can't say too much here. We do have a lot of mechanisms coming in, and obviously with the Golden Rabbit, yeah, I mean, I saw a text message one morning from people go, screenshot wrong on the stage or on somewhere mentioned that, you know, if you have all 12 of them, there'll be something special. I'm going, there's something special? Well, I didn't know. Maybe Dan was working on something special. I didn't know. He looked at me, he goes, I have no idea. And I ring up Ron, and Ron go, there was that special thing we talked about, right? I'm going, yeah, what was it? and we couldn't figure out what it was. But so that Gold Rabbit that came out, it's a very, very much a secret rare. We will be doing more, but we need to be careful how we do it, because number one, I just want our audience to know it's free. Don't get pissed off at us by not getting one for everyone. It's a secret. There's a reason why it's called, you know, we just drop it. So I get a lot of message to go, well, I didn't get one. So you're not being very fair, Dave. It's like, we will never be able to mint 2 million of this Gold Rabbit so everyone can have one. Otherwise it'd be stupid. It won't be collectible. I just want everyone to know that. And there was a time turn back. It needs to be fitted in a certain time. And we had to do it quite fast. So, and if we knew there was more and more people trying to collect sets of them, we would have minted more. We would have minted maybe 888 of them, tried to get more. But so how the number came, really, it was pretty much on that day, it had about 400 or 500 people complete the set. We thought, well, if we mint 666, it would be more than enough for everyone. And even at 400 something, I told Dan, I think the number is wrong because it could not be possible when the ultra rare is 1888 and you have 400 people out in there. And actually there's more than 600 people have complete sets of them. Have complete set. It's almost unheard of. It's impossible because I went on the market, tried to buy one of everything. I worked it out how much it will cost me. And I'm just going, well, it's not very possible that there's that many. So we had to run the data again and again to make sure. And, you know, with the time difference, we were off by a little bit. There's actually a lot more people than we thought. So I do apologize if we miss out on something. And we are going to continue to bring out more things like that as surprises.
On that same topic, real quick, is it true that there are more people who completed the set that are supposed to get something around English related with that same airdrop, or is it done?
Yes, so you are correct. We still got a small batch of the rabbits that we're going to be distributing it out throughout this holiday season. So there are still some, and we know who missed out. So we are going to be sending them out. We didn't want to do it until after the immutable migrations finish, if that makes sense. We just actually wanted to take the load of the engineers in the back, rather than, you know, writing codes to send out these gold rabbits. They should be migrating over. These are milestones. We needed to complete this by end of this 2021. There are things in my book that I want to, you know, on my shoulder in a way. I want to get it off so I can actually have one evening I could sleep. Seriously, I get so many messages. So please don't send me 40. Some people send me 40 the same one. Yeah.
One more quick question that I'm sure a lot of people would like to know. So we see the number 666 a lot in the app. Is there something special about that, or is it just coincidence that we see that a lot?
I always have these things with numbers. I think the numbers, if you were not getting the number ones, because all our fans know, right? The number 1 and number 40 or whatever, we keep in the company, and then we're going to start giving them out as prices coming out. So if you couldn't own number 1, what would be the number you will want to own? I personally will go for the last number, right? And I want the last number to be the coolest number. I was like 666 or 8888. I'll tell you, our licensors are going, dude, you need to make your number more consistent because every time it just goes up and down. And sometimes I use the birth year of the numbers. So without giving you too much away, for example, the Coke, when was first Coke came out? That was one of the numbers I used for one of the editions in this release. And because I thought, hey, that is relevant. If, you know, this is one of the first few Coke NFT that's come out, and I managed to score the last number. And that last number happens to be the year that Coke was first introduced to be drunk. That's meaningful. And you know, I think James Bond was another one. All the ending has the 007. Because that's a significant number. If I was a collector, I will want to own, you know, 007. But if I couldn't own 007, I will want to own something with 007 in the end, and that will be the last number. So, and that these are the reason why the numbers have been designed the way they are. And who to blame? Me.
I think it's a good thing. I think, you know, we've had a lot of fun with these numbers that you put out. Like, I'll never forget the 888 on the ultra rare Dragon Girl. which I thought was amazing because I know that that was representation for the culture,
Yes.
right?
Yeah. That is a great fortune number, and I tell you, I get contacted and by a lot of these collectors in Asia. They wanted to get asked to sell them all these magic number. I'm just going, we don't hold them. People have the mythology, think the company hold all the key numbers like 888, 1888 or 1818, or we don't. Just so everyone know, we keep the first lot, and randomly the computer do take some for the artists and the talents out there. And the 12th day of Christmas, some of these numbers are being given out randomly, so you'll see what you get.
Amazing. That's good to know. And one question I have for you, David, and I know we're approaching kind of the end now. We have you for an hour and a half, and we want to respect your time. So my final question to you would be, what's your favorite VeVe NFT? And if it's yet to be on the app yet, maybe there's something coming as well.
Yeah. Well, what's my favorite coming has already been out. I think there's some new stuff coming out, and you guys have seen. Oh my God, that's amazing! I have a huge course collection, by the way, down that way. A huge. Now, there's a lot of stuff coming in Q1 next year. That is very, very amazing, and you guys can start to see the quality of the products is just becoming better and better. I think there's a special Christmas drop in this 12 days of Christmas. We haven't announced what's coming, but there's one particular toy company that is coming on board for the first time. And I have to admit, that product, we made it so real. It's just like the physical toy that you will buy. It's the first time we start experimenting new type of textures, fabrics into collectibles. A lot of the stuff that we have seen is very either glossy, glassy feeling, polystone, very marbly or very gold, and very hard texture like the DeLorean time machine, very machine like the glider. But there's a new category that we are bringing out, I think, during this Christmas season, that it's almost bringing us to another level. And that type of stuff we could be starting to see in the metaverse, and how we will be representing and how we will be wanting these collectibles to look like. When you can start adding new texture, new layer of things, it's quite amazing. And I think it is coming out, and it has to be one of our best work out there. And it is the first appearance, and it's the best work in that category. And obviously from here on, we're just going to keep improving it. So I'm very excited. I mean, I think by the time you guys air this tonight, is this going to air tonight?
I'm going to air it probably in about 6 hours. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, the Coke one it's very special as well. I mean, it looks like a snow globe, but there are things in that globe that works. So a lot of them want, a lot of our fans want us to see things snow, right? So I mean, so things like that, and so we're trialing new things constantly.
Wow. Amazing. Thanks, David, for
awesome.
that. I'm going to leave it to the group. Maybe if I'll if they have any maybe final questions for you, David, if you have a few minutes, or do you got to take?
No problem. I'm fine.
Okay, perfect.
Just a quick question, really, because obviously people coming into VeVe now will never have imagined the life that we had going back in March, because obviously we could sleep on decisions. I didn't have to buy the Todd at a precise second in time. I could actually wait to buy it. And going back through your history, I noticed that the first sellout drop you had was the Powerpuff Season 2, which obviously is the lowest mint to date on VeVe as well. Was that a calculated decision at that time?
Yeah, I'd be very honest. It was the first biggest mistake we made on the number. It's the worst ever thing. Because I tell you why, after we minted, I told Dan, you do know there's only going to be like 150 people in the world will ever own every single collectible, because we just minted one of the lowest run. What were we thinking? He just go, well, I don't think anyone wants to buy that, do you? I'm just going, yeah, maybe that's enough. Because remember, in our business plan, we were going to have less than 5,000 people at that quarter that will use the app. And then we worked it out, maybe 7% of those active user will possibly buy one of these things. So that number was basically based on a rough of numbers that I normally use through my Excel simulation, that we think there's only going to be a couple hundred people that will buy it. So we mint it slow. It was definitely not calculated in any way. We were not that smart back then.
But I mean,
if you look at it, if you add up how many we minted times how much we sold it, that making that model cost more than that. We couldn't even get our money back.
I mean, to me, having the full set is almost an addiction in itself. And, you know, there's some you've got to accept that you're never going to own, Donny being one of them. So I'm looking forward to the rental stage so I can pretend, if only for a few hours. But seeing the statistics of the app, I can't wait to see the Master Collector program to see, are people actually into sets, or are people into just hoarding certain collectibles? Because that's something I'm excited to see. So
yeah, I think that will be quite exciting, and I tell you, I think the rental thing will be fun. And I remember this about, I think 8 or 10 years ago, playing World of Warcraft, and I'm not sure if you guys remember that when they introduced the white tiger, and there's these group of people were riding on these white tigers. You're going, well, how the hell did you even get one? And I remember I could only rent one to go around in the paddock for a few hours.
that sounds like me.
And back then it was like, I think it was $1,500 US to own a white tiger. Yeah, and the thing is, I was a sub distributor for Blizzard Activision. In fact, other things I collected. I had, here's a StarCraft signed by every person who was part of the game. And I think I had one for World of Warcraft. I had one for Diablo. Yeah, so I mean, I think the rental really started to come when they brought these games out back in the day. So I think, utility-wise on your NFT, possibly we're just going to get much more fun. But I don't know, does someone own like 30 Donnies out there? Imagine that you rent them.
I think there is that person.
There is someone. Okay, we must look for.
Some of those early people got in early and they took advantage of being able to buy things at the retail price. That's one thing that Claire just touched on, that a lot of people joining right now, they won't understand. We were able to buy a lot of these for retail in the store. They say, what do you mean in the store? Everything's sold out. And I'm like, nowadays they are sold out. So it's just been incredible. I didn't have another question for you, David. I just wanted to say, it's been amazing to be able to talk with you and just to pick your brain, the knowledge, just to be able to share some memories that all of us OGs were a part of from the early days with you. It's been unbelievable, David. Appreciate it.
And we are extremely, I don't know how to say, you guys just been great. The community has been awesome. I mean, we had no money to do marketing. We didn't know how we were going to get the message across. It was always going to be one of those biggest things, is that, well, how are we now going to sell these Batmans, you know? And seeing things that flying off the shelf, you know, just, you know, I do wish things could sell out slower. I do have them every
Me.
single day. I'm on the executive meeting. I do have to say today, and we saw the James Bond, the Faldo case came out. So I was on the call with the executive at MGM, and I just say to them, you know, all I do is I hope it does sell out slower, much slower than you like. And that case is interactive. It's beautifully. It's got. I do believe it does quite a bit more than what that picture just does the swirl around. It does a lot more, but otherwise, it will, you know, why would we bring it out? You know, I always get asked, you know, is there a way we could leave enough product in there so we don't just have this, I call 1 second sellout. And I just say to them, we honestly do our best. I mean, I think last week we blocked 5 million bot transactions, or 5 point something million. So there's a lot of activity we are doing, and it is working. But I'm still not getting my drop. So you know, until I get my collectible freely, I think there's a lot more we're going to be doing, trying to get there.
Awesome. I personally just want to say it's been an honor and a privilege to talk to you face to face. You know, I started this journey in March, and I remember when I found my first Joker, I just got so excited, and I started my YouTube channel, and now I'm face to face with David Yu. You know, dreams come true. It's crazy.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I do watch the YouTube. You know, if I'm not working on Friday night, I normally have our fan YouTube on and go through it. We do listen, by the way, especially Dan. Dan, I think the first thing he does when he wakes up is he watches all the YouTubes, and then he writes down what we need to do. Yeah, he told me that.
In a good or a bad way?
Yeah, in a good way. In a good way. And then we will swap links, and he will have a bit of laugh, and I just go, oh well, you know what yeah. And yeah, we'll work much harder. I mean, it's been incredible 1 year. We're coming towards 1 full year, guys. I just want you guys to understand it's been an incredible journey. Yeah, it has been very, very fun. You know, a lot of time we're working crazy hours, and we still do, but at least we're getting all the milestones done. And hopefully next year, everything that our fans have asked for, we can deliver more.
That's terrific, man. You know, David, it's, you know, I echo what everybody's saying. I remember when we first bought our Todd Batman, we didn't have anybody to share it with that believed in NFTs like we did. So that's why we went to YouTube, because we just wanted to express our passion for this stuff. And I never even considered doing YouTube in my life. Like, it never even came to my head. And for whatever reason, VeVe gave me that passion to do that. So I just thought that was crazy. And here I am now sitting with the founder of VeVe, and I just never would have thought this was possible, you know?
Yeah, I mean, you guys do put out incredible message, because I'll tell you how I know. I went to my brother's place for the first time, you know, when we unlocked, and I walk in, they have the TV, and the kids, they said, watch YouTube, and they seen their uncle on the screen. And the first thing they run up, they go, oh, you're famous. Can you sign this for me? You know, so yeah, it's been a great journey, and really we're extremely humble. And when borders start to open up, things a bit more free up, and conventions are starting to run, you know, myself and Dan, we have a lot of dedication that we will be coming to meet you all. We are going to do a lot of road shows, you know, to stay relevant with our audience, you know, and we are hoping to produce more physical product in 2022 that coincide with the NFT So yeah, we're going to see a lot more doors opening. So hopefully you guys buckling up for this rocket to, yeah, it's about to do that, what we call that slingshot, back to somewhere, going somewhere. So, but just before we go off, Todd
To the moon.
and this guy, hopefully, he'll be joining you guys during this holiday season. So I'm not sure how you guys going to do the draw, or if someone would tell you guys.
So I think, that's fantastic, David. Thanks for providing that opportunity. I mean, those are two very exclusive physical statues of the digital counterparts. So if you are holding those two numbers, which I believe for Todd is 2216, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, 2216.
Perfect. And for Mike Magnolia, it was 1409, if I'm not wrong.
1409, that's correct.
Perfect. So if you're holding that, I would, you can DM my Twitter at NFT Pirates, and I would need to see a lot of proof. So I know a lot of people will probably be doing some Photoshop editing, but I will need to see more than that. So so thanks, David, for providing that opportunity. And if we don't find those holders, I'll reach back out to the ECOMI team to do a draw for those two items.
Yeah, that would be great. And thanks again for everything, guys. It's a pleasure to be on, your show. And I do need to do more. So hopefully, yeah. But we're signing off here now.
Yeah, it was an absolute pleasure to have you on, David. And I don't think there's anybody better that could have been here with you. All the OGs that were here since March that love the products, and we're all blown away by sitting with the legend himself. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much,
guys.
David.
Appreciate it.
Thank you.